Hello, hello, hello. It's day 134. We're going to get started with ELA. Let's go. All right. Today, let me make a better view. We are going to start with the PDN. Make sure you write your first name, last name, circle your home room. Our aim today is we will review figurative language. We have gone over all 6 literary devices, so you have to show what you know. Now, I'm going to give you some time to press pause so you can complete your do now. Press pause. All right, guys, welcome back. So today's do now is a poem and it has an illustration. Just for the sake of time, we're going to go through this really quick. There's a polar bear in our Frigidaire. He likes it because it's cold in there. With his seat in the meat and his face in the fish, and his big hairy paws in the buttery dish. He's nibbling the noodles, he's munching the rice, he's slurping the soda, he's licking the ice. Now, when we look at the questions, our first question is asking us, what is the rhyme scheme in stanza number 2? I know we haven't gone over this skill yet, but I want to see what you know. Stanza 2 says, he's nibbling the noodles, he's munching the rice, he's slurping the soda, he's licking the ice. So if we look at that stanza and we look at the rhyme, we have noodles, rice, soda, ice. What rhyme scheme does that follow? Does it follow A, B, or does it follow A, B, C, B? So we got noodles, rice, soda, A, B, C, and then we have ice. A, B, C, B. Our answer is B. Make sure you mark it if you didn't have it at first. Number 2, which of the following represents the sound device used in line 8? So if we go through our poem, you can see that I've labeled and marked up each line, and we have 1 stanza, 2 stanzas. So it says, which of the following represents the sound device in line 8? He's nibbling the noodles. Is that rhyme, where things sound the same at the end, or is it alliteration, where things sound the same at the beginning? Nibbling noodles. Our answer would be A, alliteration. It sounds the same at the beginning. Nibble, noodles. All right, moving on to number 3. Which of the following represents the sound device used for line 10? He's slurping the soda. Slurping the soda. Is it rhyme or onomatopoeia? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say it is onomatopoeia because slurp is a sound and onomatopoeias are sounds. Flip the page. Vocabulary time. For vocabulary word work, we will be working on prefixes, suffixes, and root words. Prefix, an affix placed in the beginning of another word. Make sure you fill that in. We've gone over this every day this week so far, so I want to see everybody by the end of the week knowing the answer to this when we do our FSA. All right, our root word is a word that does not have a prefix or a suffix added. Make sure you fill that in, and let's keep it moving to our vocabulary word and context. The first portion of the word that we're dealing with is dis. That will be our prefix. Next, our root word is respect. When we mash these together, we come up with an entirely new word. But first, we need to define the parts of the word. Okay, so dis means not. A lot of times when we're dealing with prefixes, they often mean the same thing. Earlier this week, we used the word un, which also meant not. Now, if we're defining the word respect, we can look that up in the dictionary, and it means not. Respect means showing kindness. Now, if we were to write out the definition, we would put not showing kindness. And a synonym that we can place for disrespect would be being unkind. And for an antonym, we would say that it would be being kind. Now, I went ahead and wrote a sentence, including the word disrespect. Make sure you underline the word that we're defining. You can create your own sentence, or you can write the one that I have. It says the disrespect shown by the children throwing rocks at cars had me gawking at them. Excuse me. The word gawking is a word that we've used in the past. So you already know that it means looking at in awe, mouth open, dumbfounded. So let's keep it moving. All right, so let's explain the illustration. It says, explain the men are disrespecting the elderly woman because she is not being treated with kindness. We know that it's respectable to give our seats to elderly people, and these guys are totally disregarding her. One guy's in his phone, one is reading a newspaper, and another is ignoring her and drinking his beverage. So make sure if I'm going too fast that you guys go back and pause the video. I definitely want you to get all of this. Now, flip the page. We are moving on to board equals paper. Figurative language is when a poet uses what? Words to express their thoughts in a more exciting way. There are 6 types of figurative language. And we're going to make sure we plug all of these in. Now, there are 6, and we're just going to put the number, types of figurative language. Now, let's go through and see if we can figure them out. What I'm going to do is have you guys fill in your portion now, so you can pause the video and do that, and when we come back, I'll have my answers shown. All right, so we have hyperbole, an exaggeration to create forceful imagery. Personification, giving human traits to a non-living object. Simile, comparison of 2 things using like or as. Metaphor, comparison of 2 things not using like or as. How many did you get right? I'm sure all of you got all of them right. Now, the next 2 are called sound devices. They're used by authors to make their writing sound exciting. The next 2 are onomatopoeia, which is a word that imitates or mimics the sound they are describing, like scratch or skirt. And alliteration is a phrase that all begins with the same sound. We've gone over this. Those are phrases like Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. All of those words begin with the p sound. Let's move on to the model. Flip the page. Now the directions say, read the following lines and determine which of the terms in the word bank are being used in that line. Let's change that. We have 6 sentences. We have 6 words in our word bank. Let's go. Number 1, in a game of quack, she moved as slow as a snail. Now we got as in there, so I know that this is simile. Number 2 says, if we use our grit and always commit, give it our all, there's no mountain too tall. I'll say that again because that was a mouthful. If we use our grit and always commit to give it our all, there's no mountain too tall. At the end of each word, grit, commit, all, tall, we use rhyme. Number 3, the ball fell down the stairs with a thud. So let me make these where we can know that we've used them already. So I'm going to make simile a different color. I'm going to make rhyme a different color because we've used those already. The ball fell down the stairs with a thud. Thud. That's a word, that's a sound. So we should fill it in as an onomatopoeia. Once we do that, we have to highlight it as being used. So I'm going to do that. Next, number 4. Our sentence says, Charlie Bucket is skinnier than a toothpick. We're comparing Charlie to a toothpick. So, what would that be? You're right. It is a metaphor. Make sure you highlight metaphor as being used at the top in our word bank, and we can go on to number 5. Her home was a prison. Her home was a prison. Sounds like an exaggeration to me, and we all know that exaggerations are called hyperboles. So we're going to put that in there. Make sure we highlight hyperbole in the word bank to show that we've used it already, and go on to number 6. We only have one word in our word bank, so number 6 has to be repetition. But I'll go ahead and read it for you guys. Number 6 says, bunny hop, bunny hop, bunny hop. Now do the shuffle now. Do the shuffle now. I said do the shuffle now. Do the shuffle now. That is definitely repetition because they're saying the same things over and over again. Flip the page to the guided practice. The directions say read the poem and answer the questions that follow about poem structure, figurative language, and sound devices. I'm about to mark up my poem, so I'm going to press pause. You do the same and mark up yours. I'm back. My poem is marked up. I have my stanzas labeled. So question number 1 is asking us which lines from the poem make up a stanza. Is it lines 4 through 5 or lines 9 through 12? So if we look, we know that it's stanzas 9 through 12. So we're going to go in and mark that as the answer. Stanzas 9 through 12. All right, next question. Which sound device is used in line 2? Line 2 says that the booming thunder in the sky. Now, if we click on here, we know that booming thunder is actually an onomatopoeia, so we're going to mark that as correct and keep it moving. Our next question asks, what is the figurative language device used throughout the poem? And we could identify those as hyperboles because there are exaggerations throughout this entire poem. Let me make that red and we can keep going. All right. Number 4, what is being compared? In the poem, lightning is being compared to thunder. Nope, we can eliminate that one. Bowling is being compared to a storm. And then we have question number 5. Okay, I have my answers for questions number 5 and 6. And in red, please do your independent practice.